predict things, but if you can get just one trend, like a player prop, you can combine it and do a same game parlay, maybe even a live bet on a parlay based on how the game is going, if you think you've got the inside track on one of the trends. And there's also other things you could be doing. You still got hockey, you got baseball, and a whole lot of other opportunities to do the same thing. New to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head over to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Florida State has quite a list of official visitors. I just went over the list for the first weekend in June. But now I want to go over some of the top guys, just regardless of which weekend, regardless of position. And this isn't necessarily in any order, but this is just my thoughts on it and why it's important for each player. Florida State has trended in the right direction with recruiting, no doubt about it. I'm happy to say that because, believe me, it's a lot more fun to cover success than it's not. But these players right here, if they don't get some of them, it will not be a successful recruiting class. So listen up. If I had to pick one guy above Cam Brooks, and I still put Cam Brooks top of the board because I've talked about him since like January, it would still be Chauncey Kennan, the cornerback out of Booker High School in Sarasota, elite athlete, grew up rooting for the Noles, and he's somebody that has been to campus multiple times. He understands what it's like. Norvell and everybody on the staff has a good relationship with him. The DB coaches, both of them have gotten along with it. Everything seems to be going in the right direction. However, it's not like Florida State doesn't have a ton of competition. Depending on the recruiting service, this is a 4 or 5 star recruit. Chauncey Kennan is a big-time player for all the reasons that you need to be as a corner. Length, height, change of direction, speed, and just the ability to read the football in the air and make a play on it. He's got the ability to be an NFL player one day from a physical standpoint. Now, how that materializes, we'll see. But there's a reason that the Georgias of the world and the Floridas of the world and pretty much the entire SEC, among others, are after him. Miami wants him, etc. This is a big-time player. But again, he has an inside track for the Noles here because he grew up rooting for it. If you lose this kind of recruit, it's just not a good sign. Finally, with him, they've got a chance to kind of impress him based on not one, but 2 DB coaches that are very well respected in the state of Florida. They're from South Florida. This shouldn't be as hard as you might think. And Florida State just had a second-round draft pick at corner, too. That doesn't hurt at all. So we'll see what happens with him. But Chauncey Kennan is a very, very important player. Now, I'm just going to mention it in general. Cam Brooks, they cannot miss on him. I know he's committed to Cal, but I just wanted to bring him up again. They have to sign him. Florida State cannot lose recruits to the Cal Bears. Period. With that being stated, it's going to be a little bit before we really know what happens with that. He's going to take that visit on June 6th. He might take a visit or two after that. We'll see. But if Florida State doesn't get him, that's going to be another rant from yours truly. Now, again, this is no particular order, but Devin Carter, just talked about him on the visit list. Legacy recruit. Florida State needs speed at receiver. They need a home run hitter, especially for Malzahn's offense. Carter would come in and play. In my opinion, very, very early. They could use his skills, and he could probably contribute from the first game on. This is a kid that plays for a good high school program in Douglas County. He's been tutored by his father and several other good people in the greater Atlanta area. It's going to work out for him, whether it's Auburn or Florida State. Hopefully for the Noles, he ends up in Tallahassee. Speaking of a Georgia prospect, somebody I haven't talked about a ton, but I've had a chance to meet him, seen him a few times, Christian Givens. Really athletic, defensive end, 6'3", 215. He could also be a receiver. He's really good at that too. But as a pass rusher, he's very talented. And that's a young man that could end up being a double-digit sack guy. You cannot have enough of them. Florida State's not super deep at defensive end, and he plays at Columbus Carver. It's a program that's right on the border of Alabama. It's about 3 hours away, and it's quite honestly one of the better programs in the state of Georgia in terms of producing talent. They've got another player in his class committed to Auburn. They've always got guys going to different programs. It is a staple for the NFL too, like Michael Williams and some other guys have come out of there recently. we'll see where he ends up. But Florida State is in the mix, and he's one of the top 100 recruits in the country. Jaden O'Neal, talked about him, but if they don't get him, just want to say this in general, they've got to get a quarterback in this class. It's not O'Neal and it's not Duckworth. Who would it be? Just want to throw that out there. I'm not sure how that's going to go. CJ Bronaugh, he is a kid that plays at Windermere High School. That is a program that you don't normally think of for having a lot of top prospects. But he's getting it done, and he's one of the fastest players in the country, just over 10.3 in the 100 meters multiple times. I mean, he is an elite track kid, very long, very athletic, and extremely coachable. He took all the coaching at the Under Armour camp that I was at very, very well in Orlando, and he's also a kid that's looking at a lot of schools, including Florida State, despite being an early commitment to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Shout out to them for getting in on CJ early. But CJ Bronaugh is one of those guys that's blown up, like Penn State, Florida, and numerous other programs have come in and just go on all in on LSU, etc. I'd imagine Florida State's got a pretty good shot here. He's had a good visit, but now he got the OB coming up pretty soon. If they could get him, especially if they paired him with Chauncey Kennan, that would be as good a corner combination as there is in the country. Florida State's got a shot there. It would be very, very advantageous if they could do it. When we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit more about my list and wrap up my thoughts on this year's recruiting class.